Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. My name is Andy, and today I am going to share with you the top 10 things I do not like about my Porsche Cayenne GTS. So if you're new to the channel, welcome, and subscribe if you like this video. You'll know, or if you've watched previous videos, you'll know I bought this car a couple of months ago now, a few months ago, and it is my daily driver. So I drive this every single day. And on weekends as well, because at the moment this is the only car that I have. So in the future, planning on buying a few other things, but I recently moved out here to Saudi Arabia, and I needed something that was, let's just say, quick enough and would not get bullied by the big SUVs that are out over here. So let's start first of all with the top 10 things that I do not like about my Porsche Cayenne GTS. So the first thing that I don't like are the alloy wheels. It's not actually the alloy wheel that I don't like, it's the fact that they had the black spokes. So I've never really understood black spokes, because the thing is, from a distance or at night time, you can't see the design of the alloys. So why have it in black? I mean, I like to sort of show my alloy wheels. I think they sort of complement the car. So I don't understand the idea of sort of hiding it away. But this car came with them. I believe it's actually the original factory spec, and I mean, I've just got to say, I just don't like them. I've had a few cars now with black alloy wheels, and it doesn't do anything for me. So the second thing that I don't like is the fact that my car was actually missing bits. So you'll see here that that part is missing over there. That's a cover for the jack, and this one as well. So when I picked up my car, it didn't have those bits on it. Which was annoying, and I am in the process of actually getting replacement parts. The other thing that was missing from my car is just under the bonnet. So you'll see that normally there's a plastic trim that goes all the way around the bonnet. Now that is missing on my car, but luckily I have been able to source it. So if we go around the back over here, got a power trunk, which is nice. I managed to get all the bits for the trim itself, and later today I'm going to put those on. So that is a bonus. I don't like things being left uncovered, and yeah, it's just annoying that somebody previously who owned the car had their car serviced, plastic bits were taken off, came back to collect his car and didn't bother checking to see if they were back there or not. Right, the next thing that I don't like is I had a panel fall off. So you'll see here, there's a sort of a panel missing from that, and I'll show you the other side. But basically, I was driving along, came back to the car, and sort of one morning came back to the car and it was missing. So obviously it's fallen off. That's the panel over there. I have actually been able to source it from the same place that I got the engine covers from. So that's going to be fitted onto the car. I just need to get it painted, but I thought what I'll do is I'll get these bits as well first of all, and then just get it all painted and all put onto the car. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it fell off, it was actually quite annoying, because there's 4 clips that hold it on, and I think that when it fell off, either the other clips fell with it, or but there's only one clip that we could find, so it's a bit annoying. Ordered new clips, I've got the new clips, so it's ready to go on. Right, next thing I don't like about the car is the fact that it does have some electronic gremlins. Now, this isn't unique to my car. I mean, as I mentioned, I've had 3, this is my 3rd Cayenne, so I've had 2 turbos, and now this is a non-turbo. And there's little things like, for example, the keyless entry, it works to lock it on the driver's door and on the passenger door, doesn't work on the back doors. 3 of the doors were working, now only 2 of the doors are working, and luckily it's the front 2 that are still working. But that's quite an expensive fix if it comes down to it. Another thing that is a real annoyance, and it hasn't actually left me stranded yet. When I bought the car, I had the battery changed. Now I think the battery is underneath here, if I'm not mistaken. I think from memory it's over there. It's not normally like this, I assure you. It's usually very clean. Get it cleaned later on. Anyhow, so the battery was a little bit low, and I said to them, change the battery over. And I was actually going to buy a original spec battery from Porsche. They ended up changing it over in the meantime at the garage that I bought it from. and I'm convinced that they haven't used the right battery, because basically what happens is when the engine is hot, when it's cold it doesn't have this problem, but when the engine is hot and you go to start the car, it sort of sluggishly starts, like it has a hot start problem. But it's almost like it's not getting enough power from the battery. So I'm pretty convinced that it's the battery. But like I said, it hasn't caused me a problem so far. Number 6. As you can see, the temperature outside is 39 degrees, which is just mega. And I find that the AC, I don't know if it struggles a little bit. I mean, I guess I'm being a bit harsh. I mean, it seems to be fine today, but then today it's only 39 degrees as opposed to being 47 degrees, which it has been earlier this week as well. So maybe I'm just expecting too much from it. But sometimes, I have the AC on and it takes a while for the car to cool down. Personally, I think I'm probably being a bit harsh and it's probably a bit unfair. Number 7 is the fuel consumption. Now, it's not particularly bad over here because fuel is very, very cheap. And I'm going to create a separate video about the cost of fuel over here because it will surprise you. But if this was the UK or in Europe, the cost of the fuel, it would probably not be something that I could use every day. I mean, I used to use my Cayenne Turbo every day, and that was a load of fun too, but I'm not sure. I think the prices have gone up since those days. So yeah, I mean, it does drink a lot of fuel, but then what do you expect? It's a 4.8 litre car. It's an SUV, it's a heavy car. I drive it like mad because it's a manual box, so I leave it in second for as long as possible, leave it in third for as long as possible. So it's just probably to do with the way that I drive as well. But we'll create another video on that. But if I'm being picky about something, that's probably one of the things. Number 8 is the fact that my particular car, I mean, it's done 150,000 kilometers now, and it does drink oil. Not a huge amount, and admittedly only on sort of long distance trips. If I'm doing short round the town sort of trips, it doesn't really drink anything at all. So again, I'm probably, it's probably drinking what it should do, right? So it's not doing anything that's unusual or out of the norm. Number 9, this is actually something which does really, it really frustrates me, is the fact that this is such an underrated car. And I see that as a bad thing, because the thing is, people when they see it, they don't realize what it is. I mean, they don't realize, the 4.8 litre V8 engine, the manual gearbox. I mean, when I tell people that it's a manual gearbox, I have the look of pity on their face that I have to look at. And it's like, no. The manual gearbox is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. So it's really frustrating because, people look at it and sort of think, oh, it's an older model Cayenne, but it's a brilliant car, and it's almost like car people get it, they understand it, but non-car people who are only looking at the glitz and the glamour and the latest model and things like that, which they don't themselves drive, right? So this is not people who themselves drive a Porsche. They might be driving a Toyota or a Nissan, and they're like, 10 years old. Yes, but drive this versus your car and then you'll see the difference. But that's frustrating. I mean, I have to say it is a frustration, and part of it is actually Porsche's fault, I would say, because this is a generation 2 Cayenne and we are now on generation 5, and this car is only 10 years old, and in that time there's been another 3 generations of Cayennes that have come, which I think is really, I mean, I get it that everybody wants the latest and greatest, but come on, guys. I mean, seriously, do we have to have had, 3 new generations of Cayennes since this car was left production 10 years ago? It just doesn't make sense. I mean, if you look at something, I mean, this could have lasted a lot longer than it actually did. But anyhow, that's just my personal opinion. And number 10, the thing that that frustrates me the most about my car is this. It's the sports button. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love the sports button, because what it actually does is you press the sports button and it opens up the exhaust valves, which is just turns it into something that's great, into something that is absolutely epic. For a standard exhaust, this thing sounds amazing. It really, really does. So it opens up the exhaust valves, it stiffens the suspension a little bit. I think it drops it a little bit as well, but it does stiffen it up. Because my car's fitted with the air suspension and the hydraulic, so you know it really changes the way that it drives. I think it sharpens up the steering as well, so it really enhances the driving experience. The thing that I don't like about the sports button is you have to press it every single damn time you get into the car and start the car up, which is just frustrating. I mean, it should be a case of it starts off with the sports button. If you don't want it, switch it off yourself. But Porsche have obviously gone the other route, where it's a car that needs to be usable and all of that. So they've deliberately set it up so that you have to press it each time. But I press it every single time because it just adds so much to the drama and the experience of driving the car. I just wish that it was done automatically, but there's no option for that as far as I'm aware. Anyhow, I hope you have enjoyed this video on the 10 things that I do not like about my Porsche Cayenne. But if you haven't seen it already, I'll put a link up here somewhere for the video about the 10 things I love about my Porsche Cayenne GTS. So be sure to check that one out as well. If you have enjoyed this video, I'd like you to do two things. First one is like the video, give it a thumbs up, and secondly, subscribe to our channel. We're a growing channel and we would really love to have you along for the ride. So I shall catch you in the next video. Thanks very much.